So we're smack dab right in the middle of a classic console craze. And while Nintendo and Sony and companies for Sega and Atari want to bring you the console side of things from the 80s and 90s, another company called Unit E wants to bring you the PC side of things with the PC Classic. So this PC Classic from Unit E seems to be filling in the other side of gaming from the 90s, which was games like Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, Duke Nukem, the 2D versions, eventually Duke 3D, Jill of the Jungle, Jazz Jackrabbit, Commander Keen, Hex, and Sim City, all these games that were at home on a PC. A few, of course, did trickle over to consoles, but their true home was on the PC. And this PC Classic seems to want to fill that void and really get those games out to the masses again. So before we cover the market for this console, I'm going to jump right into what this console looks like. And on the front of it, we have 2 USB ports, NSD card slot, a power switch, a little vent on there, kind of reminiscent of the IBM PS2. On the back of the unit is composite video, interesting choice, an HDMI out, and of course another USB, which is helpful, and of course the power cord. Now before we jump into the market or the target audience of this console, we'll take a real quick look at the hardware here. So we're looking at the front of the unit, which is an SD card slot, 2 USB ports, a power switch, and a little fake vent kind of reminiscent of a IBM PS2. The coloring, of course, is also like an IBM PS2. Maybe once it was, used a little, kind of got that little bit of yellowing, maybe that kind of smoker gray on there. The back of the unit has another USB port, HDMI, a power cord, and interestingly enough, composite out. So as far as the player's control on this system, we're looking at pretty much gamepad support, and then also they did mention support for a keyboard and mouse, I'm guessing connected via USB, which is why it does have 2 ports on the front for USB. Now we did see Doom and Quake playing on this thing, along with some kind of 2D games. So I'm thinking the games list for this thing is pretty much going to be, again, right in that kind of early 90s sweet spot. I made a list of games here, which I'm guessing will probably be on this thing, or at least be possible on this. So we're looking at games like Doom, Wolfenstein, Commander Keen, Jazz Jackrabbit, Jill the Jungle, Duke Nukem 1, 2, 3D, Hex and Quake, Sim City, Civilization, Command and Conquer, Ultima, King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, Prince of Persia, Maniac Mansion, Day of the Tentacle, and I even put Zork in here, which is a text adventure game, which leads me into my next kind of point. So some of these games are, you can play them with a control pad, but a keyboard mouse is going to be a lot better for some of these games, and I think that's why they do mention this on their site, using keyboard mouse, having USB ports on the front to plug these things in. That kind of goes into you kind of sitting at a desk playing this unit, sitting at a table, not really on your couch. And I think that's another reason why we're seeing a different connector set in the back. So we have HDMI, which can run, of course, to a TV. It could also run via an adapter to a VGA monitor, be it CRT or even LCD. Due to this, I think that is why we're seeing the composite ports on the back as well. So as much as we have composite video, we also have left and right audio, which could connect to a set of speakers, kind of making this thing literally into a little PC on your desk. So the price point for this is $99.99. I would love to see it more, maybe under $100, getting more towards that, $79.99. I feel like that is a lot more of the kind of high-end sweet spot for these classic consoles. The system is going to be crowdfunded, and as much as I don't like crowdfunding, I can kind of see why. They did kind of upfront in their FAQ or their introduction video, they did mention they are a small company of 5 employees. So of course, they're not going to have that real financial backing for like plastic mold injection and all stuff that's a lot of money. So I really could see that there. The other part of this is kind of getting their market before the system's released. Now, as much as the NES Classic and the Super NES and the PlayStation, those are real big, impulse buys for the gamers who remember those things. But when it comes to DOS games, a lot of the gamers that remember those things, they're still playing those things on modern hardware via DOSBox and other stuff like that. So I think getting that support ahead of time is really going to be key. Now, from my opinion, this company may also want to kind of seek tie-ins from, you know, kind of the bigger members of the, you know, retro PC community. So if they can kind of get this unit in the hands of guys like LGR or even the 8-bit guy who even develops his own games, I think that's a spot where seeing, you know, letting their audience see this console and really see what it is could really help out Unity with getting the word out there and getting these units sold. Now, to jump into my last point, this unit, from what we're seeing on it, is using USB ports, an SD card slot, pretty, you know, normal open type stuff, nothing proprietary. And what I'm thinking here is, could this unit be used, you know, of course they have the PC namesake of PC games, but could the unit be used for maybe a little more emulation? You know, kind of becoming a ultimate emulation box of 90s gaming, or, you know, 80s to 90s gaming. So could we see NES emulation on here, SNES up to PlayStation and N64? I mean, we have already seen that gamers have been able to get DOSBox running on an NES Classic and playing games like Commander Keen. So could it go the other way and actually have NES and SNES games running on this PC Classic? We know the hardware, of course, is going to be something modern and then kind of, you know, running DOS stuff. So is it going to be emulation running DOS stuff? Is it actually going to be some kind of, you know, mini system on a chip in there running? We don't know. That stuff isn't announced yet, but if that perspective is there, like I said, this thing could become really the ultimate 90s gamer box. So with those thoughts on this PC Classic, what do you think? Is this something you'll buy, something you'll pass on, something that you like so much that you might even crowdfund it? Let me know below. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that sub button. If you like the video, give it a like. I'll see you next time.